Welcome to Flavor Text, an extension of the Max Level podcast brought to you by OP Seat. Whether you're a master or grandmaster, you can't go wrong with OP Seat, the official gaming chair of Level Down Games. Upgrade your battle station today with the best chairs in the business. Be sure to subscribe to the Max Level podcast on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice to hear a brand new episode every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. On today's episode of Flavor Text, the crew admits to having given up on certain games. Support us by clicking that subscribe button, hit the like, turn notifications on, and drop us a comment down below. So for Flavor Text this week, we want to do something a little different. Generally, when we started Flavor Text, it wasn't always going to be about gaming news, and this is a perfect time to do this because the prior week was very light on gaming news. So we have to come up with a different topic. Brian here, joined as always by the crew from Max Level. We got Frank, Sean, and Kyle here. Say hello.
Hey,
what's up?
Hey.
Howdy.
What we're going to do on Flavor Text is talk about games we have quote unquote given up on, games we just couldn't finish, kind of going off of what we talked about last week on Flavor Text in terms of easy mode in games and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and how hard that game actually is. Is there any game that you've actually been unable to finish? Sean, you said you had a Blockbuster one that we were going to hate you for.
Yeah. You know what, kids?
Is it Animal Crossing?
It's not. It's Fallout 4.
Tell me you did not just say that.
I don't think that's terrible because the game isn't that great. So the game isn't that great. So
Oh, it's not that bad. It's just
not that bad. It's
great.
just not that good.
Fair enough.
I got to tell you, I love the Fallout games. I have been a fan and I've been hooked since Fallout 3 on Xbox. I remember playing, I'd wake up every Saturday morning. It was like a ritual. And I would play that game for a couple hours before I even started my Saturday. And I loved it. And so I thought when Fallout 4 came out, wow, you know, the formula isn't going to change. I'm going to really love this game. But I found myself being disinterested after a while because I just was not into the Institute and the storyline there. And I thought it was a little weird because in the Fallout 3 games, I didn't play all the expansions, but for the most part, it was pretty realistic. And in 4, there were just guys teleporting around, doing weird things and all the technology. It really wasn't my bag. And
Also, the protagonist of that game is a complete loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
You walk into a new settlement and he's, welcome to the settlement, traveler. Have you seen my son?
Yeah.
I'm looking for my son, Sean. And he always says it like in the most dullest, like stupidest voice. And it's your only voice option the entire game. Have you seen my son, Sean?
Yeah, that was the worst part of the game. No one's looking for Sean.
Yeah, who cared about
Who
Sean?
cares about Sean?
Yeah. Who cares about Sean? That guy sucks.
So did you give up on it because you just didn't like it? That's why you gave up on it?
No, I mean, it was very repetitive. And I know that sounds funny because the quests are evolving, but for me, I felt like to move forward in the game, you always had to have your establishments and all of your different settlements like humming to get all the different things that you need, or else the game becomes very expensive and you can't buy a whole lot of things. So to me, I just wasn't digging it. I wasn't digging the whole run around and make sure that you've got your settlements happy. And then I found myself running around trying to find like cement and just different things that I didn't care about, which does bring in a lot of the survivalist part of the game. But I just didn't really appeal to me to play that all the time. I felt like it was.
You gotta learn how to link your settlements, man. Okay, because it's the greatest game of all time.
I
do, but
hated that aspect of the game, dude. I hated that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I didn't like that aspect either. I actually beat the entire game and didn't do a single settlement.
I platinumed the game and I hated myself for it because I had to actually do the settlements, but I wanted the platinum trophy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Fallout 4 was such a step down from 3 and New Vegas, especially New Vegas, that, and then we took a giant leap off a cliff with Fallout 76. So, sky's the limit, I guess, for Fallout 5 when they ever decide to do it.
Yeah, low bar's been set recently.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, if they go any worse, they may as well kill the IP because, I mean, it can't get much worse. But yeah, so yeah, any other games you've given up on, Sean, besides Fallout 4? Well, I'm sure there's quite a few, but anyone you want to point out?
Not really, no. I mean, honest to goodness, when we talk about giving up on games, I mean, technically a lot of the games I play, I've quote unquote given up on because I just haven't gone back and like beaten them, or they're still waiting in my catalog or whatever. But no, I mean,
actually, there's one that you and I recently gave up on together.
Oh, well, we talked about that at nauseam.
But on the Max Level podcast on a Flavor Text, we gave up on Anthem.
That crap out of here.
We gave up on Anthem because it's so bad. Game is terrible.
It's bad. It's bad. I mean, we gave up on it because of the issues that they had that they're probably fixed by now. But
if not,
it was just too much.
If not, they're screwed.
Yeah, it was no good. No bueno. No, that's boo boo.
Anthem is definitely one I've given up on. Just because I knew that I just didn't care about that game. Much like, I gave up on Destiny. I don't care about Destiny.
You don't care about shooters in general.
Yeah, but I do finish shooters. I didn't finish, I didn't do everything Destiny had to offer. I'll never do everything Anthem has to offer. I play through like when they have campaigns like the Battlefield campaigns and the Call of Duty campaigns. I'll play those, but it's not like I'm going to give up on those. Those are easy to run through. I just don't like the multiplayer aspects. Kyle, what have you given up on?
Life.
The big trying to raise my children correctly. The biggest game that I can think of that I've given up on and I know that I'm not going to return to is Dishonored.
Ooh, really? I love that franchise.
Wow, I got Dishonored on PC. And I've got a few hours in it. I've got maybe 4 or 5.
You're talking the original Dishonored.
The Dishonored 1.
Okay.
And that 4 or 5 hours was some of the most boring 4 or 5 hours of my life. Now, I don't give up on games for difficulty. I really like difficult games. I'm a big fan, like we've talked about before, Super Meat Boy, Binding of Isaac. Those are games that are definitely difficult, and I've played them to completion multiple times in some cases. And difficulty is not a barrier for me. It's fun. If I'm not having fun, I mean, my time's worth more than playing games that I just don't have fun with for no reason at all, and Dishonored did not have a lick of fun for me.
Do you like stealth games at all?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Okay. Cause I know that was a lot of people's issue with that, was that it was too heavy on the stealth. But so I wonder if that's kind of what threw you off, but I don't know.
I'm not a huge first person player anyways, for the most part. Now I do like the Fallout games. I do like Elder Scrolls. Even though I might have played Skyrim in third person, I don't remember. But I do like those games in first person. Huge fan of some of the other first person shooters that have come out. I played Counter-Strike a lot. I loved Doom 2015. But Dishonored, man, something about that game. It was very slow. It felt kind of clunky to me. I didn't feel like the controls were very responsive. I felt like the skill system was a little convoluted, kind of hard to really dive into and see. And I was always nervous when I was choosing a skill. Am I choosing the wrong one? Is this going to come back to bite me later? Am I going to be able to beat the level with this skill? Right. Nothing about that game felt right or fun to me.
Okay. I can respect that. I do enjoy Dishonored 1 and 2. I finished them both. I really
most people do.
I like them, but I could see how you could not like them as well, because I thought that kind of stuff when I was playing through, especially choosing the skills, and there are obviously skills that lend themselves better to finishing a level than others. So you can definitely have a much harder time depending on the path you take. But I dug it. I don't know. I crawled through the levels. I was how Frank plays games, basically just crawling through levels and doing whatever you got to do. Like that's how I played Dishonored.
Speaking of what path you take, most recently the game that I've given up on, and I'll probably return to it at some point, but Octopath Traveler. I did not beat Octopath Traveler. Yeah.
What? Okay. Why?
Yeah, I played a lot of Octopath Traveler, but did not beat it. It came out at a time when a lot of other games were coming out, and I ended up kind of dropping it for other games, but I also did not reluctantly drop it for other games. I had reached a point in the game where I was really going to have to grind some levels, and you do in that game, you have to grind.
That's what I love about it.
I know, and I know that you do love that about it. I was at a point in gaming where I did not have the time, the oompha to actually sit and grind levels. So I did drop Octopath Traveler. I do think that I'll eventually return to it. Not now, but sometime.
Are you going to return to it on Switch or PC now that it's coming out on PC?
Switch.
Okay.
Switch. I got my save file on Switch, and I've put a lot of hours into Octopath. I just haven't beat it.
Fair enough. One of the games that I've given up on, I think is fairly common knowledge for anyone that listens to our shows, Skyward Sword. I just cannot stand that game. I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion. And it's
You're
not
so wrong.
It's not because
okay, so we have talked about it before a little bit, but now I want you to tell me why so that I hate you.
Okay, that's fine. It's not because I hate the story. It's not because I hate the soundtrack or the characters. I love Zelda. I've played and finished every other Zelda game except for Skyward Sword. And it's because of the one-to-one stupid motion controls. I make no bones about it. I am not a fan of the Wii. I'm not a fan of motion controls. I dislike that entire system of control. So when they made it to you have to do the motion controls, you have to rely on it to finish Skyward Sword, I didn't like that. I've tried and restarted it 4 or 5 different times. I always get to the same section of the game like 2 or 3 hours in, and I just hate it. I cannot push forward because I'm not going to sit there and swing my arm around like a freaking idiot playing Zelda. That's not what I want. I didn't do that with Twilight Princess either. I played the GameCube version first of Twilight Princess because and I mean, still in my opinion, is the way the game was meant to be played. I did go back and play it again on the Wii just to kind of, do the motion controls, but I never finished Twilight Princess on the Wii again because of the motion controls, even though the motion controls weren't as baked in as they were for Skyward Sword. I am not a motion control fan. That's the reason I gave up on Skyward Sword. I want to see the story. I want to actually finish the game. I know for a fact that there's some amazing dungeons in Skyward Sword that I'd love to experience, which is why I'm pushing for Nintendo so hard to release the remastered version on the Switch without motion controls, because then I will pick it up and play it.
Just sack up, Brian. Okay, it's a great game, you son of a...
It's a shit game with bad controls.
I really hope that they release it on the Switch and you have to use the Joy-Con motion control.
I wouldn't play it, Kyle. I wouldn't play it. I'll tell you that right now. I would not play it.
Kyle? All right, Kyle.
Screw you, Kyle.
I tell you what, I wouldn't play it. If they make it to where you have to use the Joy-Cons, I'm still going to skip it. I will not play it.
Get that crap out of here.
I would probably be dumb enough to buy it and try it to see if maybe they made the controls better, because even though I hated it, I did use the stupid motion controls for Pokemon Let's Go every now and then until I started playing it on the handheld version.
Yeah, it's much better on the handheld.
That is a question. If Skyward Sword comes out on the Switch, would they really neglect the segment of people that play in handheld mode because you can't swing around your Switch like a Master Sword?
Absolutely not. No, if it does come out on Switch, it'll have button control.
It would have to. And even if it was only in handheld mode, I would play the damn game in handheld mode at that point, just so I could play the game. Like if much like Pokemon Let's Go, when it's docked and connected to a TV, if they require motion controls for Skyward Sword, then I will just play it handheld. Because I want to see that game. I want to experience it. And I actually, that's the only Hyrule I've not saved or finished, as Frank and I talked about in the past. I want to do that. I want to actually finish that game, just not with motion controls, because it sucks that way.
I think Bethesda actually did a good job putting the Skyrim on the Switch, because you can have motion controls and button controls seamlessly. So I think maybe Nintendo can take a play out of that book and utilize that formula for if they want to bring that port back. That would be the way to do it.
Let Bethesda port it.
As long as I can use this gorgeous Princess Zelda Pro controller right here to play Skyward Sword, I will
audio
play
podcast.
I don't care. You can see it.
Okay, well then we'll describe it. It's white is pure.
There's a review for it on the website.
D-pad glistens in the sun.
Yeah, there's a review. There's a review for it on our YouTube channel, Frank. If they cared enough, they could go check it out. Shut your mouth. What have you given up on, Frank?
I've given up on this podcast.
It's not a podcast. It's a show.
the big one from last year that I given up on, and I've given up on plenty of games, but I gave up on Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Okay, you never went back and finished it?
It was such a slog to get into in general.
It is a boring game.
It's boring as shit. And I say it all the time. I play video games to have fun. I don't mind a full immersion into this medieval world, but damn it, let me have fun with this game. I had zero fun. I have no intent on going back to this ever.
Though you're right, though. The world was super cool.
It was beautiful. It was awesome. It's everything I wanted, and it sucks.
Still one of the better looking games in terms of environments available on current gen, like the trees and the foliage and the way that the grass actually moves. It's really gorgeous. It's just a shame that the gameplay was so bad.
There's that. I mean, the music is good in the game.
Yeah.
It has a pretty decent engine moving along. It's just that it wasn't fun. I mean, they did everything except for the most important thing to me, and that is fun.
Yeah.
Because I'll play a stupid, ugly game if it's fun as hell. I'm really not much more than that. I give up on so many things. I've given up on
we've all
Agony.
given up.
I've given up on
Agony for sure. You didn't even play 10 minutes of that game.
I've somewhat given up on Horizon Zero Dawn. I just haven't given myself
fucking stupid.
It's
that is the stupidest sentence you've ever said in your life.
I don't have all this time to devote to all these games. I have a very fixed amount of time that I can play video games, so things keep getting thrown into the back burner. I haven't finished Detroit Become Human.
You see, that one I can understand. Horizon Zero Dawn, not finishing that game.
I'm pretty far into Horizon Zero Dawn. I just
finishing
don't have time.
that is a damn tragedy.
Now, see, I haven't finished that one either, but again, just because games have come out, and I'm not counting that as a give up.
But you haven't given up. Frank said he gave up on it.
Yeah,
I said all but given up. It's still there. I haven't uninstalled it or anything like that. There's 1,000 other things I still have to play.
And
I'm closer to giving up Red Dead Redemption 2 than I am Horizon Zero Dawn.
Also
Red Dead Redemption
stupid. Also so stupid. What is wrong with you guys? Play better games. Give up on Rocket League and play Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's a much better game.
Rocket League's one of my favorite games of all time.
That's why I said that.
Have you seen him play Rocket League? He should get.
Exactly, man. We're tired of watching you lose, Kyle. We're tired of watching. There's a reason why you have to switch to other games halfway through the stream.
Oh, snap. No, I love watching him play Rocket League.
No, but you're absolutely right. Whenever I'm on stream, I perform like a monkey. I perform like a dyslexic monkey trying to play that game. And then I get off stream. And no joke, I get off stream, I start playing again. I start winning games again.
I mean, I see you have a high rank, so I know you know how to play the game.
Well, I think you really fall into the same category that I did when I streamed. It's easier to stream a single player game because you're in control of the game. You're in control of everything that's happening. You can stop to read chat. You can stop to, do whatever you want to do. Whereas if you're Rocket League and you're stopping to read chat, you might miss something. You might, screw up your timing. You might do something that you didn't mean to do, which could make you lose the game.
Right.
And I think that's the same. That's the same. I know, because I see it, but that's the same. Like when I would stream Dead by Daylight with Sean and Frank and Justin.
Savage.
No, I'm not savage at all. I'm just saying, like, when I would stream multiplayer games with you guys when I was streaming, I would sometimes get caught up in reading chat or the music that was playing or something else, and I would not do good. But then, just look at the other day with Sean and I jumping in a DBD, I did great, and it was no distractions. So I don't know. I think that's just probably the issue with streaming multiplayer games on Twitch. I don't know.
You're right. I don't disagree.
You keep playing Rocket League. I like it.
I think you should give up.
I'm going to.
I think you should give up on Rocket League before you give up on Red Dead Redemption 2. I still believe that.
One of those games is fun.
Yeah, Red Dead. Dude, I put 100 and some hours into that game. You can't tell me it's not fun. That game is amazing.
A mile wide and an inch deep.
Oh, there's so much to do in that game, dude. There's so much to do in that game.
There's nothing to do in that game.
There's everything to do in that game if you look for it.
There's nothing to do in that game. The funnest thing I've done in Red Dead Redemption
was say the name correctly.
Customizing my guns. I go into the shop and I'm like, ooh, an ivory handle, a gold barrel. And then I'm back out on Bertha and just riding around the wilderness, not doing a damn thing.
Is that the name of your horse?
No. Well, I mean, I've had like 6 horses because they keep dying. I had Lord Cuckleberry. There is I don't know. It was like Captain Hobag or I don't know what they are. I just keep naming them stupid things. But
Fair enough. The game should not be given up on. That's a great game. Horizon Zero Dawn is a great game.
I'm not giving up on it. I'll go back to it.
Detroit Become Human is a good game too. Frank, you got to start it first before you can go back to it.
I'm not going back to it this week.
I've gotten like 2 chapters in. Thank you very much.
Are you? I thought I did.
I did the first mission and the second mission. That's 2 chapters.
Well, the second chapter is quite a bit longer than the second mission. You're in the second chapter then. You haven't finished the second chapter. But yeah, those are the games that well, not all of them. Like I said, we've all given up on a lot of games, but those are the ones that we wanted to highlight. But what we're interested in knowing is, based off of the conversation we had last week with easy modes in games, and now this one here where games we've given up on, what have you given up on? Let us know down in the comment section below. Games that, were just maybe too difficult, you didn't want to finish. Games that you just didn't care about, like Sean and Fallout 4, or Kyle and the blasphemous Red Dead Redemption 2, or, what games have you given up on? We want to know. We'll be in the comments interacting, so let us know. Thanks for checking out a new episode of Flavor Text. If you enjoyed what you just heard, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn notifications on, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. We'll see you next time.